We're here at my gym. I'm with fellow fitness enthusiast Michael Berentes. Good to have you, brother.
Appreciate you having me.
Introduce yourself to the audience.
Michael Berentes. Like you said, I own my own online fitness business, and I'm glad to be here and share some information.
Absolutely, man. Like I said, the main purpose of this podcast is to spread positivity, and how much more positive can you get than to strive to be in taking care of your body, which your health is your wealth. I'm a true believer in that, and I'm just glad to have you here, brother.
Absolutely.
So, absolutely, bro. So, I wanted to ask you, man, because I really admire that I'm a believer that we need more positivity in this world. More fitness enthusiasts in this world because of all the negative stuff that's going on out there, right? I wanted to ask you about your personal fitness journey, your voyage, whatever you want to call it. What got you into fitness, and then eventually what led you into opening up your own or starting your own fitness industry?
So I've been a part of athletics for my whole life.
Sure.
So, weight training and eating as healthy as I could has always been a part of my life. So starting, from 8th grade till, now, right? So for, over 12, 14 years, I've been training, and that led into college football. So I was a part of a program, part of a routine. And then I had to gain some weight, right? For my specific position in football.
Yeah.
So I went from about 210 pounds to 250 pounds in the span of a couple years, which is a lot when you're eating the bad things.
Oh yeah.
And it adds up. So I got to a weight where I didn't want to be, and I was just able to tell myself, once I'm done, I'm done being this big, right? And I knew I had to be because of the position I played.
Of course.
So I had to put on some weight, but once the season was over, I was like, it's either I make a decision now or never. And I became passionate. I lost 40 pounds in 4 months, and it was just something that I could then teach people how to do it, right? And based on how I felt, I wanted other people to feel that as well. So that's now why I'm an online coach, and hoping to just get people to feel how it feels to lose that kind of weight and the confidence that it brings out, and so much more in life as well.
I love it, brother. I love it. More specifically, is there an aha moment that you had, like, to the day, to like, I was here, like, allow me to share mine. Mine is kind of funny because my dad was very strict with us. He like you said, he instituted into us that we couldn't eat, like, for example, cereal for breakfast. And when you're a kid, that's all you want. You want sugar and stuff like that.
Right.
So he made us eat an apple before. I mean, in his own way, he tried to make us healthy. He made us eat an apple before we even could touch a cereal box. But one day, I came back. I was in 1st grade. I was 7 years old, and I came back with they used to call them blue slips. I don't know if you ever got one. This used to be when it was like a disciplinary thing. That meant you were bad in school that day, and they sent it home with you, and your parents had to sign it, and you had to bring it back to school. So in this particular case, I think I got like in a fight or something like that, and I got a blue slip, and I went home. And my dad disciplined me. It's typical in the Hispanic community. Dude, he didn't even ask me what I did. He just saw the blue slip and he just let me have it. So I went to my room, I'm crying, and all of a sudden there's Dragon Ball Z playing on my TV, and I just start ripping push-ups, dude. And that was my first experience ever at getting the pump. That was my first pump ever, and I immediately fell in love with it. I was over here angry, ripping push-ups, dude. I'm gonna run away, and I immediately fell in love with that sensation. And I think that was my aha moment. Fast forward 10 years, I come from being super skinny. I was $125, $130, soaking wet, coming out of high school. So I was tired of being the skinny guy, the small guy. I was always strong for my size, but I was tired of being, quote unquote, the skinny guy. That's why I decided to take on weightlifting and put on some size. I put on my first 2 years, I probably put on like 50 pounds of relatively lean mass. And it was, ever since I've been on it, and just love the gym in general. So Do you have a situation like that?
Yeah.
An aha moment like that?
To go off of you too, I think it's important that, you find that one piece to go off of, right? Like,
for sure.
You had that discipline issue. And you started, training. I take that, I tell my clients, like, you have something in life, right? Once you grow older, like having kids, having like, a job that requires a lot of effort, life isn't really about you anymore, right? And, finding that one thing that, when you're depressed, when you're upset, when you're mad, when you're sad, when you're emotional, whatever it may be, having that kind of resort to go to the gym, right?
Yeah.
And to go kind of, make it a stress relief. So I totally understand what you're saying, and I kind of preach that to my clients as well. But, to your question, I think the first time that I was like, aha moment was after season, when I was, 245 pounds. I went on vacation with my family to Florida. And, we came back, and the whole trip I just ate like shit. I just kind of was depressed that I was done playing. And, I got back and I stepped on the scale and I actually took my first progress photos. Yes. And that's where it was just like, okay, and it's time to go to work, and it's time to, like I said, I didn't want to be that size anymore, and taking that picture really put it into perspective that, like, it's time to turn it up a notch and really work hard.
That's awesome, bro. And I've seen your progress pictures. I've seen your before and after, and it is amazing. And congratulations, anybody that understands how difficult it is to stay disciplined with the purpose of meeting an end goal can relate to that. So yeah, like I said in my previous statement, I come from being super skinny. Right. You come from being heavier set, if you will.
Opposite end of the spectrum.
Exactly, opposite ends of the spectrum. And going off of that, I'd like for you to share, or I want to share with you, and I will share with each other, the importance of understanding a broader and more general spectrum of fitness, I should say, to better help more clientele, because not one body is the same. Right. Not two bodies are the same, I should say. Everybody's unique, and I feel like you have the same approach to your fitness as fitness training as I did with my clients. It's not one. It has to be customized. It has to be. That's not necessarily cookie cutter. How important is it to understand that? How important is it to understand a broader spectrum of fitness in general?
Yeah, it's super important to understand that, like, if you're coming from a heavier set, or if you're coming from, like you said, a person needs to put on some weight. And I think it comes back to, you can lack confidence because you are too big, or you can lack confidence because you are too small, right? And that's just finding the happy medium. And I think it's important to understand that you have to go one of two ways. Either way, either if you're starting at a heavier set, or if you are trying to put on weight. It's super important to realize that those people, right? Because my personal journey, I had to lose weight, right? You have to understand the same thing with people, like you said, when you kind of figured out, you wanted to put on size and stuff, you have to figure out why they're lacking confidence as well. And it's because they can't gain weight, right? And it's setting them up for success, right? And building them and structuring, a regiment program out that we know that they can succeed. And as simple as it is, it's, what are we eating, when we are that size, and then what do we need to be eating when we are, at a smaller stature. And it's just setting them up for success, and giving them all the tools that they need to get there. And I wouldn't say that I was a master at it when I first started, because I came from, like we talked about, the opposite spectrum. Yeah. So understanding, doing a little research and understanding, what needs to be done for them to, reach their goals as well. And that's what I had to put into it, is, kind of understanding that, and then setting them up for success with the, structured out regimen.
Absolutely. That's what I love about the fitness industry, or fitness in general. You never stop learning. No matter who you are, no matter how proficient you become, there's always more than you can learn. You can always strive to be better in all aspects of it. Whether you can get stronger, leaner, look better. I mean, you name it, healthier. You can always strive to get better. And you mentioned that at the beginning you weren't an expert, and that took me back to when I began my journey in the fitness industry about 12 years ago. I understood what worked for me. Because I'm an athlete. I've always been an athlete. But being able to take that and apply it to somebody that is completely different from you really takes a lot of work, a lot of education, a lot of preparation in order to help these people.
Right, because everybody's body's different.
Absolutely,
so you don't know what's going to happen when somebody's going to react differently to giving them an X amount of food or an X amount of volume in the gym.
Exactly.
So it's understanding the person that you're working with and getting to know them on a deeper level as well.
Absolutely, and taking all factors of what may be going on in their life. They may have busy schedules. They may have a lot of stress in their life. You got to take all those things into consideration. But there's always a way to be able to strive to get better. There is, and I preach this. I love to preach this because I truly believe this, and I'm sure you agree with me. There is a version of each of us out there that is the best version that we can aspire to be, and all we got to do is tap in and just basically stop telling ourselves. The only thing that's holding you back is yourself. The only thing that's holding you back is the bullshit. I see it on your posts, on your social media. Stop saying this. Stop saying that you can't do it because of this. Stop saying. Right now we're sitting in. This is my gym. This is a 24/7 gym. I mean, you gotta make time. Yep. If it's because your gym closes too early, I mean, there's 24-hour gyms out there. If it's because you have kids, make time. Take care of your kids, then make time for yourself. How do you expect to take care of your loved ones if you don't take care of yourself first?
Absolutely. And I think that goes to the point that I kind of said earlier, is it is 100% about you. This is something that you have to be 100% selfish about yourself to see success.
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel like people have, and I see this a lot, Michael, in the Hispanic community, what you just said. They look at it as a selfish, or people start telling them, oh, why are you going to the gym so much? Why are you doing that? Like, oh, they make fun of it, and it's a toxic culture almost. To bringing down somebody that's trying to better themselves.
I know.
I mean, what the fuck? It's crazy. When they're completely doing the opposite. Them being better is gonna make their circle better by any way, shape, or form. I mean, it could be little, it could be a lot, but.
And I always tell people, right, like, you may get a hard time at the beginning for, doing this, right? You're eating right, you're going to the gym regularly. People are going to give you a hard time, right? Which I don't think is, something that should be done, because it is 100% about you, and you're trying to better yourself in a positive way.
Absolutely.
But I always say, though, that first, 2 to 3 months, people are going to, kind of say, hey, what the hell are you doing? Like, they're going to give you a hard time. Absolutely. Okay? Those last 2 to 3 months, right? Whatever it takes. I always say, give me 4 to 6 months of your undivided attention, and we can get you to where you want to go, right?
For sure.
And once they see that physical change in you, they're going to go from, hey, what the hell are you doing, to how did you do that?
Exactly.
And that's the cool thing about it, is like, people will, kind of jump on you and be like, hey, what, like, you're trying to be all healthy and stuff, like, what the hell? And then you drop 20, 30 pounds, and then people are going to be like, how are you going to teach me how to do that?
Exactly.
Right? So it's
you said that better than I could. Yeah, they might not appreciate it at the beginning, but give it time, and they have no choice but to respect it, and that's why I love talking to fellow fitness enthusiasts and people that try to be the best versions of themselves, because only people like us understand how much it takes,
right? And
for us to try to inspire more people.
You're only going to know, at the end result, right? And it may take 4 months, it may take 2 years, right? But once you get to the end, you're going to be the only person that knows how much work you truly put in. Nobody else. So if there's still outside noise, who cares? Because they don't know how hard you worked.
Absolutely.
And that's the most important thing, is like, you worked your ass off for it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And the only person you can truly change in this world is yourself. Absolutely. No matter what. I mean, you being a trainer, me being a trainer, we can create the best programs, the best regimens, the best schemes for our clients, telling them exactly to the T what to do, day by day, hour by hour. And it's, at the end of the day, it's up to them.
Yep.
At the end of the day, it's up to them. They can have the best plan. If they don't execute, they're not going to get results. And that is, I think, one of the hardest things that I ever came across with in my training career, it was people saw other people get results, and they wanted those results, hired me as a trainer, and then we're expecting magic to a degree.
Right.
And when they come to the realization that that's not how it works, it's like, I don't want to do it. And that's unfortunate, because I feel like everybody can be better. Right. You don't have to. Not everybody's going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Not everybody's going to be Phil Heath or a C-bum. But you can be the best version of yourself.
Right.
You can be the best version of yourself.
No bullshit aside, like, it is hard work. Like, there's
1,000%.
There's no magic pill.
No magic pill.
Endless amounts of cardio that's going to get you from, to drop 40 pounds like this, right?
Yeah.
Like, the shit, it's hard ass work. But if you're willing to put your mind to it and tell yourself, I'm going to give myself, a half a year, right?
Yeah.
Because even if you're not to the end result in a half a year, you're still going to make unbelievable progress.
Absolutely.
Right? But, I'm not going to sit here, like, and anybody that I talk with, right? I'm not going to sit here and beat around the bush and say it's the easiest thing ever, right? I try and set my clients up for the easiest path possible, but it's still hard work.
Yeah, the path of least resistance.
Right.
And
I think it's more mentally than it is physically.
1,000%.
Because
1,000%.
to stay disciplined, to stay consistent, right? That's not anything physical, right? That's all in your head. That's all mental, right? So how mentally tough are you, to be able to go from where you're at now to where you want to be? And, some people need the extra push, and that's what obviously I do, right? Just hold people accountable, right? Accountability is something that people don't get anymore, right?
Yeah.
Ever since high school sports, or ever since you lived with your, parents, you're not held accountable for shit anymore. So being able to hold people to a certain standard kind of gives them a little bit of a push, and understands that, they can do it if they have a little bit of guidance.
Yeah, man. And again, I keep repeating myself, but I cannot stress enough how important it is for us to spread positivity, and how it is. And Michael is the walking definition of what he just said. I'm not making excuses. This guy got a flat tire on his way here to shoot today's podcast. And it would have been so easy for him to say, I got a flat tire, man, I can't make it, blah, 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 this and that. He fucking did what he had to do, buttoned up, and got his ass here. And like I said, not only does he talk the talk, he walks the walk. I like to think that I do the same, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to just spread positivity, but not just by saying these things, but by acting accordingly and leading by example. So
absolutely,
that's awesome, Michael.
I appreciate that.
No, absolutely, man. I mean, I like I said, we can't have enough of us in the world. I mean, there's
I feel like I'm not even to where I want to be, right?
Oh, for sure.
It was a Matthew McConaughey quote that I saw.
I love Matthew McConaughey, by the way.
Yeah, he's awesome. But he said, my hero is, me in 10 years.
Best Oscar acceptance speech ever.
Unbelievable. 10 years later, he's like, no, I'm not even close to being there, right? And he said, I'm chasing something that I know I'll never get there, to be my actual hero.
Yes.
Who is your hero, right? And I think that speaks volume, that you're never going to be the person, the perfect person that you want to be, right? But there's always room to grow.
Absolutely.
There's always room to grow.
Yeah, man. And I preach that all the time. In a previous episode, I said something similar. Don't worry about, chase perfection. Want to know what the beauty about it is? You're never going to catch it.
There, right.
But you're going to get better and better and better and better and better.
Close,
and that's the beauty about it, So yes, very well put. And thank you for quoting him, because that is one of my favorite all-time actors, and the greatest Oscar acceptance speech ever. Something that we can all take, no matter who you are, and apply to our lives. Mike, I wanted to ask you a little more about your personal training clients, the clients that you've helped throughout your career. About how many success stories do you have under your belt?
So I started last February, and then so before that I was an in-person trainer at Anytime Fitness, and then I kind of thought to myself, I could, and going through my own personal transformation, I could teach people how to do this, right?
Sure.
So I started, February, got my first client in April.
Mm-hmm.
I would say since April to now, probably looking at like 25, 30 plus.
Okay.
So yeah, nice. It's something that it takes time to build foundation, right? It takes time for people to actually buy into what you're doing and actually believe in you, right? And I can't thank the people that reached out to me enough, because they had a certain level of trust in
Yes.
me. And that's all I ask for, right? Is, the road can get bumpy, right? But, at the same time, like if you put your all into it and you trust me a little bit, like we'll get you to where you want to go. And, time is, a lot of people want it by a specific time, right? And
Yes.
I'll push for that.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's just like, have a little bit of trust in what I'm doing, right? And, we'll be able to get there.
Absolutely. And I'm assuming your approach is similar to mine. And I feel like most personal training trainers, I should say, they have the same approach. It's getting the people to not only fall in love with the end goal, but fall in love with the journey, because the journey is the destination.
Absolutely.
Like we said. Out of those people, is there one in particular success story that stands out to you, that hits home for you, that it's like the one that you're most proud of?
Yeah, I would say my first client ever was actually my brother.
Sure.
So he kind of dove into it, and obviously, he believes in me, he trusts me,
Absolutely.
but at the same time, my first ever, actual client that I gave everything to, and at first I was kind of like, all right, like, let's kind of see what happens here, right? Like I believe in what I'm doing, right? But like, let's put it into action and see if, we can actually do it. I'm a big believer in high satiating, high protein meals, right?
Absolutely.
So he called me 2 days, after he started, and he was like, listen, man, like I'm eating so much food, right? And I don't know if this is gonna work, right?
Yeah.
So 2 days, I was like, just trust it, right? Just trust it. 2 days later, he's down 2 pounds, and then it's just a trickle effect. And he ended up losing 25 pounds.
Nice.
His blood scores, went back to normal and everything. So, and that's what I try and preach as well, is, being able to say, like, external changes, physical changes, you might not be able to see those right away, right? And that's okay, they'll come, but your blood work, right? Like longevity, talking about living, a longer, healthier life.
Yeah.
And there's multiple clients that have had that, but where their blood work has come back and it looks much better than where it was before. But I would say, my brother being my first ever client, and actually buying into what I provide and trusting me, and being able to get to his goals, and he's still rolling, still enjoying it.
And look at that, man. The impact that you had on your brother, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And you just reminded me of my story. I've never, quote unquote, trained my brothers, but I didn't understand how much of an impact I was having on them by just simply going to the gym. Right. I was 18, 19, 20, and I chose to go to the gym instead of going out to the bars. And I just did it for myself because I loved it. I fell in love with the gym, working out, training, the pump, man. I mean, for anybody that hasn't experienced a freaking pump, that is like Arnold, to quote the great Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's like having sex, But I fell in love with it. All of a sudden, I'm the oldest of four all boys. I started realizing noticing that my brothers want to go to the gym. And they want to go. And I remember being like, I don't want to, no, I'm not going to take you, you're too little. I actually go there to work out. A lot of people want to work out with me. But then they wanted to go to the gym. And then they started going to the gym. And I had a moment of where I was like, oh my God, look at this impact. Imagine if I would have, instead of working out or going to the gym, I would have gone to the bars, done drugs, stuff like that. They would have done that because I had no idea how much they were looking up to me. So, I mean, that's the fact that we share kind of that similar.
It's super important because you don't know you're leading by example as much as you are, right? And a part of what I do is you have to post on social media, right?
Yes.
And you have people reach out and you have people that join your program and everything. But I think the biggest thing that I actually enjoy seeing is like when people DM me, right? And say that, hey man, like what you're doing is awesome, like keep up the great work. Like you don't know how many people like you're impacting, right? And that and I won't beat around the bush, right? My first 3 months, it was tough, right?
Absolutely.
Because people aren't going to buy into anything without seeing any type of results, right? And being able to have, now as I've pushed through almost a year now, people reach out and say those types of things. And, those are the things that keep you going, right? And that you're doing something right when, somebody that maybe you don't know as well or, whatever, reaches out and says something like that, you're doing the right thing.
Perseverance, man. I mean, you love to hear it. Like you said, at the beginning, it wasn't easy for you. At the beginning, it wasn't easy for me. I was so tempted to go just quit and go look for a different career path or whatnot. But I believed in myself. That's the most important thing. And here we are today. So,
awesome.
I mean, kudos to you, man. coming from one professional to another. It's you love to hear it, and like I said, we need more people like that in the world. I really truly mean that.
Oh, look at your story, man.
Oh,
going from the basement to this.
Yeah, and
awesome.
We're like I mentioned, we're at my gym, my current gym, and one day I'll make a podcast, an episode that basically breaks down the story and how it came to be.
That's awesome.
But we'll leave that for another episode, like I said. Yeah, so back to talking about clients. If you don't mind, I'd like to share mine because mine really hits home. I have about over 200 success stories under my belt in an 8-year career in the personal training. But one of them definitely means more to me than the others. And this individual, very young gentleman, came up to me, 28 years old, and he had suffered a heart attack.
Wow.
Yeah, suffered a heart attack due to a lifestyle of bad habits. I mean, you name it, he did it all. Drugs, alcohol. I mean, like I said, just would eat crap. I mean, I used to ask him, what's your breakfast? What's a day look like for you, food-wise? McDonald's breakfast, lunch at Subway, Panda Express, stuff like that. I mean, and don't get me wrong, who doesn't like these things from time to time? But the fact that he was doing this on a daily basis, that's what it looked like. And then he had his aha moment when he suffered the heart attack, and he unfortunately had just done damage to his heart that was irreparable. But he had the right mindset. And doctors told him, you're never going to do this again. You're never going to do that again. Blah, blah. You need to take it easy here. You need to take it as that. And he brought me back those charts. He brought me back that information. And I took that as a challenge.
Absolutely.
And we accomplished so much together. He lost about 30 pounds with me. But more than anything, his heart health improved dramatically to the point where doctors were like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was very young. This is, like 3-4 years into my career.
Wow.
And for me to do that, because I took it as a personal challenge, and for him to take my program and apply it and execute to the T what I had to do was a very full circle moment for me, because it let me know that I was doing something right, and we improved his life. We literally saved his life, man. Saved his life.
That's unbelievable.
Unfortunately, he passed away not too long ago due to the same issue. But that one's the one that hits home for me. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you because it really it means a lot to me. Yeah.
No, it's crazy to see, right, what compliancy does.
Yes.
Right? Once you buy into something, right, and once you say, okay, like it's this way or the highway, right?
Yeah.
Like you have one of two choices, right? It's either you decide to persevere and do this, which you had everything set up for success, right?
Absolutely.
And it just goes to, show that, like, wherever you're at, it's not too late to start, right? Wherever you're at, whether it be your 40, 50, 60 years old, or you're in your 20s and you have some issues, right? You're not too far behind, right? Like you can always make a lifestyle change.
Absolutely.
And, you kind of brought it up. It starts with habit, right?
Habits.
Like you have to break bad habits, or else you're not going to change.
For sure.
And I think like you said, the perseverance, and actually somebody that complied to what you had, right? You said he bought in, right? He did everything to a T, and look what happens, right? And that's really cool, and it's super unfortunate that he ended up passing away and everything.
Yeah, but had we not done that, I feel like that would have happened earlier. I truly believe that. And the fact that we did that, and he took, like you said, not only did he take the plan, but he actually executed the plan.
Right.
And that to me spoke volumes to me. That's number one, because I had a hard time believing in myself to a degree, but I kept going. It spoke to me. You know what you're doing. Keep doing it. Don't let anybody else tell you that you can't make a career out of this, that you're not going to make it, or whatever, the naysayers. Believe in yourself, persevere, and quantifiable data. Him, and along with other clients that I helped, was very reassuring for me at that early stage of my career. So thank you for listening, man, because that one really hits home for me. And he became a good friend of mine too. So
that's something that you'll have for
forever, bro.
Right?
Forever.
And it means a lot. And that's just something that, like, where fitness can come from, right?
Yeah.
You know, it speaks volume, right?
For sure.
What you just said, and you know how it's not just you coming in here lifting weights and, you know, trying to look good, right? It's longevity. Like I said earlier, it's being able to live a healthy lifestyle, and being able to live a little bit longer. And
for sure,
you know, I kind of have a similar, I guess not obviously similar in that aspect, but a gentleman, after he had kind of went through the program, and he said he's going to do this the rest of his life, which is awesome. But you know, we kind of had a check-in, and he's like, you know, man, this changed my life. Like this totally changed my life. And that right there, like, you know, whether I do this the rest of my life or not, like, being able to like have that impact on people is like the most important thing, right? And you know,
that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. The fact that you change these people's lives, I mean, and then you change their lifestyle. This becomes a regular part of their. I mean, we can sit here and talk about success stories all day, but the ladies that I helped that were 50 years old each never saw the inside of a gym in their life. Both of them are about 300 pounds. 50 years old, they lose 120 pounds each, and then they apply it to their life for the rest of their life. I mean, if they can do it, so can you. You have no excuse. No excuse.
Just taking bad habits and turning them into good habits.
Good habits.
And the sky's the limit.
And believe me, you're gonna learn to love it. You're gonna learn to love it because there's nothing like it. There really isn't. So yeah, Michael. Thank you so much for sharing that, and thank you again for allowing me to share with you. Again, this is what it's all about. Absolutely, bro. Important. And we're both super passionate about this, and that's what it's all about. And it's always super nice to just hear other people's stories, because it kind of like makes me feel not alone. If that makes sense, because it could get lonely sometimes. It really can. So thanks, brother. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Now on the more personal side, you obviously lift. I'm a fellow lifter. We love to lift weights. Is there a particular exercise right now that you currently like more than anything? It could be a specific exercise as far as resistance training goes. One that you enjoy the most for whatever reason. I mean, and then elaborate on it. I mean, I would love to hear your reasoning behind it.
Playing college football, playing football growing up, being in sports, like I have, issues throughout my body, right? I have 9 anchors in my shoulder. I have bumps and bruises and aches and pains.
Sure.
And, I wouldn't put a particular movement into it. I would just say overall, training back. Right? Training the whole day. Because that's the actual group that I don't get a lot of pain from.
For sure.
Being able to be pain-free is nice. But I wouldn't put a particular movement into it, but being able to have a day without any pain is nice.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, when I first started, I fell in love with back, because when you think about muscle, or when the general public thinks about a muscle, they immediately go to the biceps, to the chest, shoulders, and you never really think about your lats, your traps, rhombus, all that stuff. That's awesome, bro. Mine is right now, for whatever reason, dips, and any variation of dips. Weighted dips, the dip machine, just overall body weight dips. I just feel like I get a better contraction from a better pump for my chest, and without any pain on my or minimizing the risk to a shoulder injury. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I can't. Now speaking of that, I can't even do a dip.
You can't do a dip? No, really?
Too painful.
Really? Wow. So because of your injuries, football is a tough sport, man. I mean, freaking physical. I mean, every single play, you're
takes a toll,
taking a knock.
Yeah,
so
it takes a toll.
Yeah, I mean, I played soccer. My left leg has been through the ringer, hell and back.
Yeah.
So I can relate to sports. But now, what's one exercise that you hate to do, that you absolutely hate? You're like, fuck. You see it on your program and you're like, fuck, but you still do.
I would say any variation of a lunge.
Yeah.
I love what lunges can do. Right? I know the performance base, like it is a good movement to do. But they're so damn exhausting, man.
They're
so damn exhausting.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because the one where I'm like, fuck, and I'm like, I know I'm gonna see Jesus. It's isolated lunges on a Smith machine. So there's only up and down, up and down, very isolated. I also hate to do. I love to do them because they challenge me, but I hate the fucking one. I mean, one of my mentors at my early stages of my dwellings into the gym, if you will, told me if you enjoy doing leg day, you're doing it wrong. And I truly believe that. Like, you can love the fact that when someone's like, I love leg day. Leg day is my favorite. In my head, I'm like, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
But
it's the least enjoyable day.
Absolutely. It has to be the least enjoyable day.
I wake up and I'm like, God damn it. But if I wake up for a chest day, I'm like, all right,
let's go. For sure. You can enjoy the fact that it pushes you, that it's demanding and challenging, but I don't love doing lunges. So yeah, the isolated lunges or the standing lunges on a Smith machine, those are fucking hell on earth for me.
Terrible, man.
Fuck, man. I'm like,
terrible.
I'll do them, but I'm fucking crying the whole time. So
challenging and tough is good, and it's okay to hate something. It's okay to not enjoy something, but not to neglect it, right?
You gotta do it. Again, fall in love with the challenge of it, but it's got to push you. You got to push yourself. It really comes down to effort. That's where you'll really see that growth coming out of your comfort zone. So yeah. What type of music do you listen to when you work out?
I was thinking about this beforehand, and it ranges from I don't know, a lot of different rap to a little bit of EDM, maybe some hardcore rock in there. It depends. On a leg day, it's probably going to be a little bit more rock based. I would, to put a point on it, it'd probably be anywhere from like some EDM to rap. For sure.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. You're about to do a lunge. It's to save a loved one. What song do you play to
shit, man. Probably gonna go with maybe some like throwback Linkin Park.
Okay,
maybe
nice,
something like that.
nice.
Just anything that is loud and screams at you. But I don't know. I guess it would be. I'm not like one that like has like I have a gym playlist.
For sure.
I stick to what I know, right? And being able to just throw something on that I know is gonna fire me up is what I stick to when it comes to that. But that extra push is needed, especially on
for sure. So Linkin Park. That's a good choice. Now, what's one song that I guess you could say you're embarrassed to admit that you listen to, that other people would be like, nah, that guy does not listen to that song. But what's one song you're embarrassed to admit that you like?
I don't know if I'd put a particular song, but I'd go to Katy Perry Essentials, and I just throw on some throwback Katy Perry, man.
I've been there too, man. Was that song?
She's got some stuff that bangs, man.
Yeah, she does. That Friday song, that last Friday night song. It's just pretty like. I've had my
Dark Horse, I think is.
Dark Horse is a good one. Yeah, it's got a nice beat to it. Yeah. But for me, man, and you're gonna make fun of me, man. But you ever heard that song by Lady Gaga, The Shallow? The Shallow.
Yeah.
That's
a fire song.
That's a fire song. Dude. I got my fucking earphones on, pumping, and they're probably like, yeah, this guy's listening to fucking Drake. It's fucking Lady Gaga, Shallows. And another one is, and this is probably gonna be more embarrassing. You ever heard that song, Total Eclipse of the Heart?
No.
Total Eclipse? It's a classic song.
No.
My audience probably knows who it is. But yeah, that's one that, again.
I'm gonna have to throw it out.
I'm going, deep. There's you would not in a million years think that I'm listening to that.
There's no harm in that, though. Maybe throwing on some, I don't know, unrelated gym music, I guess.
Yeah.
You could put a hammer on the nail there, but yeah, maybe it's, I don't know, The Fray.
The Fray, there you go. I mean, these are bangers, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
More power to anybody. I don't judge anybody by whether they listen. I mean, I'm weird when it comes to the stuff that I listen to, the stuff that I watch sometimes when I'm working out. And I love it because you get to just dive into who the person is a little bit more by understanding what they listen to, what they like, and all that. But yeah, man. I wanted to give you a second and a moment to go ahead and plug your company, which is B3 Fitness Personal Training, right? Tell us a little bit more about what it is, where people can reach you in case they're interested in getting personalized training, online training, and where they can get the help to just take that step forward or just inquire about about what you do.
I don't have a website or anything, but you can find me on Instagram at Michael_Berentes.
And we'll have it up here.
And then, I would say getting more into the actual training itself it's all personalized, right? You're not going to get, a specific type of training that somebody else has, or, a specific type of macros or calorie goal, right? It's all going to be personalized to, the client that I have, right? And, wherever you come from, background, whatever it may be, me setting you up so that we know, like on a day-to-day basis, that we can check the box, right? And I think that's the biggest thing is, not giving something that's too overwhelming for somebody, right?
For sure.
Getting to know them, getting to understand where they come from, their work schedule, their family life, and understanding, okay, what can I provide that we know that we can get done on a day in, day out basis. And that's the most important thing is, not to, give somebody something and be like, good luck, right?
Yeah.
Being able to communicate, being able to be on the same page, no matter, if it's the first week or the 7th month, right? Being able to understand, like, okay, they had this, happen in their life. Okay, how do I make sure that they can still successfully achieve their goals? And I think that's important is that, you communicate with, with everybody, right? Like I communicate with my clients on a daily basis to, or on a weekly basis to understand, okay, they're here, like I said, something may come up, and being able to, give them the best possible plan moving forward.
Absolutely. And your mission is amazing. Your mission statement is similar to mine. It's all about the right approach. It's all about how you make fitness and your health a priority in your life. Once it becomes a priority in your life, you're gonna make time for it, no matter how busy your life. I mean, come on. I meet people that I know are not as busy as I am, but we still make time for it. I mean, shit. When I first started the gym, I could barely find time for me to use my own gym, and I own a gym. I mean, people don't understand that.
Right.
But the fact that like I still make time for it, and no matter how busy I get, that's what we're trying to institute into other people. And
I think that goes to, it's not a hobby. It's not a hobby. It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
And you have to, like I said, and that goes in with habits, right? Like if you have bad habits, you're not going to be able to change physically, mentally, emotionally, unless you change your habits, right? And it's not a hobby. It's not something that you can just pick up, every couple weeks and see change, right? It's got to be something that you incorporate into your life, and it becomes a lifestyle.
And that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to do that, and therefore spread more positivity and just get more healthy lifestyles out there, and just make our community better.
Absolutely, and I think that's the biggest thing is, fitness in general. Like I said earlier, it's not about just coming into the gym, right, and being able to look at yourself in the mirror, right. It like takes in perspective that all aspects of your life can, be a little bit better, right? Because, I was never one to read, right? For example, never one to read. Now that I've, kind of dove into this business side of things, like all I want to do is, pick up a book and, understand more, right? I was a physical education major. I had, nothing. Not that I didn't know anything about sales or marketing, but very low level. And being able to understand that a little bit more is essential. But whether it be, I even with some of my clients, right, their work life is better, right? Their work ethic is a little bit better as well. And they spend more time with their family, right? They're a better family man, whatever it may be. But it's not just going to change your physical appearance, right? It's going to change all aspects of your life.
And that's, to the point that you made earlier, you are your company's first client.
Right.
You are. And when people see your transformation, they're gonna be like, okay, they're gonna get to see that what we're saying today actually has weight, and we truly mean what we're saying. And hopefully they go and see my transformation as well. I mean, because it's the same, and we do come from the opposite sides of the spectrum, but ultimately we want to spread the same message, and that's awesome.
Comes into one goal.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Michael, one last positive comment that that you would like to share with the audience?
I think it kind of goes back to what I said earlier, is that it's never too late to start, right? I think, whether it be not even fitness related, right? Whatever you want to do with your life. And like I said, I was a physical education major. I graduated with that. Was going to go into, teaching PE. And I thought to myself, I'm going to regret what I don't do now if I don't do it, right? Yeah. And so that made me kind of jump full head of steam in, and and I think that goes for anything in life, is being able to understand that it's never too late to try something, and I think that's what I would like to leave with you is, whatever it is that you want to go for, try. Maybe it's a business, maybe it's opening up your own gym, right? This business, whatever it is, go for it. Life's too short to regret anything.
Take that first step. One positive comment that I would like to share with the audience is take it a day at a time. Focus on the day at hand. Focus on conquering the day that you have at hand. Don't focus too much on 3, 4, 5 months down the road, years down the road, weeks down the road, whatever the case is. Focus on the day at hand. Conquer the day. Focus on completing the objective of the day. And then once you do that and you build a habit of doing that, you're going to have time go by, days, weeks, months of just focusing on that day, and that's how you're going to be able to track your progress. Don't get focused or focus too much on the long term. Focus more on the short term, which eventually will lead to a better long term. So
day at a time.
Day at a time, man. Day at a time. Exactly.
All adds up.
Yeah. Michael, thank you so much for being here, bro. I would love to have you again on the podcast. Thank you so much for coming in, despite of your incident this morning, which just spoke more volume into what we're trying to preach here about not making excuses and just making sure that we're striving to be a better version of ourselves. Thank you guys for listening so much. If you guys would like to continue listening to more podcasts, please hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. We'd love to hear your comments about today's podcast. We'd love to hear any questions that you guys have on there. I'm gonna leave Michael's information on the description below. Thank you so much for listening, and never ever compromise excellence.